Hi and welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe and comment what story you would like me to cover next. Let's get into today's story, The Girl in the Geek. She walks closer to him and the doorbell screen as he just looks at her blankly. She explains that the doorbell was really loud as she approaches closer. The colleagues on the other side then begin to talk. They are shocked their boss has a female in his house. He then tries to mute the doorbell. She asks if he was expecting guests today, but he says they are just solicitors. She then asks if she should call security as they are being noise, but he says if they ignore them, then will leave. She then goes on to explain that only cold water was coming out of his shower. Maybe his boiler is broken. He then explains that he took a cold shower earlier. She is confused. Why do you take cold showers in the winter? He begins to blush, then tries to explain that sometimes healthy men need to take cold showers to cool off. But she doesn't get it and continues to interrogate him. He gets more flushed as she continues to get closer and ask more questions. She then notices he is sweating again, but he says to her, if she gets any closer, he will need a clogged shower again. She slowly retreats, but still doesn't understand. Then suddenly we hear the doorbell screen talking again. They say they understand him. They then begin to explain the reason for cold showers. The director desperately tried to turn them off, and then Nanhee notices they are calling him boss. He skips over, he questions and says they should order in lunch. Is chicken okay? We then move to the table where Nanhee is eating alone, and Daoko is staring at his iPad. She asks him if he doesn't want to eat, but he needs to finish his work first. He just needs to check his emails. His answers are very short and cold. Nanhee misunderstands his and thinks he took a cold shower to cool off his anger as she had make his mad earlier. She thinks to herself she doesn't even want to make eye contact with her, and when he does, he frowns. He must be really pissed with her. Her hair fall into her face, annoying her. She tries to push it out of her face. He stops his work and looks up at her and asks why she let her hair down. He can't concentrate, she is driving him crazy. She misinterpreted this again and see this as him teasing her for being messy. He stands up and gets closer to ask if this looks like he's teasing her. She begins to blush as he pushes her hair back behind her ear. She looks at him wide-eyed. Why is he touching my hair? He grasps a chunk of her hair in his hands, gently moving it closer to his lips. He then pulled himself in for a closer embrace. She then begins to speak. This startles him, and he moves back to the other side of the table. He's shocked. What did he do just now? We then move on to the evening. She's in bed. She can't sleep. All she can hear is the clock ticking. She sits herself up, she thinks back to the day and begins to blush. You're driving me crazy. She's heard these words before, but they had a completely different meaning when they were coming from her mom's. Mouth is the first time she's heard this coming from a man. She thinks to herself, even in K-dramas, the male leads don't smell the girl's hair like that. She really doesn't understand what happened today. It would have been nice if she had some dating experience. We then move on to the director's bedroom, another person who is having a sleepless night. He has 33 years of pent-up frustration, and this is what it looks like. He's so embarrassed, he thinks he's going to shrink and disappear. He then has a ding from his iPad and the notification says that his friend has completed their job on the game. We then go back to Nanhee. She is playing the game to take her mind off of what happened today. She sees a new challenge and then sees she got a request from her friend, realizing what this means. She chucked her phone. She's shocked. Why isn't he sleeping? She feels like he's in the room with her too. He then has another ding from his iPad. She accepted he feels so much attention. He knows this is his company's game, but has always been like this. He then begins to send her tips to help us through the next challenge. She thinks herself, is he writing all of this one-handed? But he's writing so quick that she can't even keep up with it. She thinks, is this his way of talking? She then texts her number to him. She wants to do it her way. Will he call? Blushing, she's holding her phone. Will he call her? He's looking blankly at his iPad. He doesn't know what to do. As the time passes, she loses hope. 30 minutes has gone, and he's not calling. She gets out of bed, staggering to the bathroom. She looks at the self in the mirror. Is this what normally happens? She can't believe it. She's so embarrassed, truly humiliated. She doesn't even understand why she brought her phone in the bathroom with her. What's she waiting for? She hits her phone and accidentally falls into the toilet. At this moment, we see he's trying to call her, but the phone doesn't connect. He starts sweating. Is there some sort of message? Is it because of what happened today? Then he starts imagining her in his room. He's shocked as his imagination goes wild. He can smell her. She gets closer, they're about to kiss, and suddenly he wakes up, lifting up his blanket. He thinks himself, long time no see. He then thinks back to his dream. What is this? He dreamt of a real female. She quietly walks through to his apartment. She's running a little late, but it's silent. He's not awake yet. She goes to gently knock on his door to tell him that lunch is ready. As she goes into the room, she sees it's empty. The bed is made. No one is there. She then leaves. What is going on today? She gave her number. He didn't call. Then she dropped her phone and broke it this morning. She rushed to get it fixed, but she didn't sleep at all because of all this. She thinks he doesn't even care. He just left. Maybe he's purposefully avoiding her, as he feels pressured that she gave her number. She's spiraling in her thoughts. Elevator sounds. She's on the 14th floor. The doors open. He's there. They lock eyes. A little embarrassed, they stare at each other. Then he blocks everyone else and he goes into the elevator with her. He closes the doors, and now they're all alone in the elevator. He presses a button and looks back at her, calling her name. We go back to moments before the elevator arrived. The colleagues are apologizing for making him come down while he's on sick leave, but they needed his help immediately. They're asking if he's going to stay for lunch, but he says he wants to go upstairs to eat. We then go back to the moment before she's there in the elevator. He gets in alone with her and tells his colleagues to take the next one. He calls her name and asked if she is leaving already. She says he wasn't there, and she cleaned and prepared his meal. He then began to explain himself that something urgent came up this morning at work. She understands he left because of work. He tells her she doesn't have to go, but she's so tired. And if she's finished all of her work for today, and if he doesn't need anything in particular, she just wants to go. He says he understands, but he wanted to tell us something, but her phone was turned off, but she can go home. She's confused. He called her. He confirms he tried to call her. She then screams at him, but she accidentally dropped her phone in the toilet. She says this is so loud that it hurts his ears. She asked him not to misunderstand. They then hit the 9th floor. The doors open and other people start to come into the elevator. They're moving a big plank of wood, and it feels like the whole elevator, they are crushed together in the corner. She begins to blush. She's confused. Why is a heart fluttering? He's not even in prince mode. He looks like a geek right now. She looks down at his arms and starts to blush. Everything about him is sexy, from his veins to his Adam apple. There's nowhere to look, both blushing and very close to each other. They don't know what to do with themselves. Then finally, they make it to the 1st floor. The other people carrying the plank of wood take it out carefully, then looking away from each other. This lonely part, they can't look at each other in the eyes. She then begins to speak with you. Cut her off. Does she want to get some lunch together? He then corrects him. He remembers she's tired. Maybe she just wants to go. But she cuts him off, and she presses the 20th floor. They then go up and have lunch. He then begins to tell her the thing he wanted to say last night. He's talking about the game, explaining everything. She's a little angry. This is what he had to tell her last night. Seriously, he was going to call her last night to talk about a game. He's confused. Yesterday, he was texting her tips, and then she sent it. Her phone number wasn't that what she wanted now. He'll continue explaining, but she needs a big bowl of coffee. Speaking of coffee, he got her a new set of clothes because he ruined hers yesterday. He gives her the bag. She stares into the bag. Really, he wants her to wear this. We see a pretty little maid's dress. We go back to how this is not the lunch she imagined. He then goes on and on about the game for about 1 hour. He's totally focused. She's thinking back to that moment in the elevator where, with his shaggy hair and unshaven face, she still finds him attractive. She's not concentrating. A question. She's caught off guard. She's angry. She needs a big bowl of coffee right now. What kind of man is he? He only thinks about games. As she walks away, he begins to blush. He can't do that. He's too distracted. He's so nervous, he's just rambling at this point. He thinks back to yesterday's incident. He comes back with the bag and sees her nodding off at the table as she begins to sway as she's falling asleep. She starts to fall off the chair, but he catches her head before she can fall as he holds her face in his hands. She looks up at him and apologizes. She's sorry she just stayed up all of last night. Then she looks at the bag. This is what he wanted to give her for ruining her clothes yesterday. She stands the maid's dress. She's shocked by any chance. Is he asking her to wear a maid uniform right now? He's stunned. He can't believe his colleagues for this. He thinks there's been a mistake, but she cuts him off. She understands that he wants her to do the housework in this. Absolutely not. He then thinks about her in it, imagining what it would be like. His heart is beating fast. He begins to blush and his nose starts to bleed. She's shocked. What a pervert. She stuffs the dress back into the bag. She's going to return the dress before she leaves. She knocks on his bedroom door. She can't find him there. His room is an absolute mess. The spurs are on. She can't believe it. She begins to tidy his room. She can't believe herself. Why is she cleaning this room again? She's having such a hard time because of him. As she begins to tidy the bed, she flops down onto it. She's so tired, we then go to him. He's so embarrassed. He's on the phone with one of his colleagues. He can't believe they bought her a dress like that. They argue that he probably likes it and it's his style, and he says that they're crazy. It's not whether he likes it, whether the other person likes it. He then continues to argue with the person on the other side of the phone. As he walks out of the bathroom, he tends to look at his bed to see her snoring on his bed. His is shocked. He looks as though she's fast asleep on his bed. The person on the other phone begins to speak again, but he hangs up. He gets a bit closer. He's shocked. He leaves and goes to pour himself a glass of water. Why is she sleeping in his bed at a time like this? He then gets a blanket to cover her. She's moved into a strange pose. He then sits next to her on the bed, reaching out to her. We then move on. It's the night she wakes up slowly, blinking. She wakes up. We see them in each other's arms. What is this that she's holding? She slowly opens her eyes. Oh, it's the director, is the dream. She then begins to speak to him. She confirms that he said that she drives him crazy. She wants to say that her heart fluttered too. She stayed up all night. She even waited 30 minutes for him to call, but all he did was go on about games. He's so mean. She then asked Ryoko, shall they kiss? In her dreams, she normally kisses a celebrity, but it's not often that this kind of dream comes around. She's got to make the most of what she can't do in reality. After all, she's been pent up for 30 years. He then tries to cut her off, but she pulls him in closer and begins to kiss him. His face is red as a tomato as they begin kissing each other. He's so tense, his toes and hands curling. They keep kissing. He then rolled her over and brings her into an embrace as he continues to kiss her. She opens her eyes, calls his name. He replies, "This is a dream, right? But it feels so real." She packed her face gently. Speed was so scratchy. Why does her dream hurt right now? Why is he beside her? What is he doing here? He begins to sweat. She realizes she's not dreaming, but she's confused. Why is he on her bed right now? He correct her this is his bed. She thinks back to what just happened. She's shocked she really just did that. She can't forgive him. She's so angry and embarrassed listening in on one else's dream. It's shameful. She picks up the body pillow with a girl printed on it. She's going to hit him. He tries to calm her down, but she's furious. What was he thinking of doing while she was sleeping? He then corrects her. She attacked him while she was asleep. She continues to fight him, but he keeps correcting her. This is his bed that she climbed into. She thinks back to what happened earlier. She fell asleep in his bed. But why is he lying next to her? He then begins to explain why he was lying next to her in the bed. She then gets a box cutter and points at the body pillow. She wants answers right now. She begins to cut it. As he doesn't reply, he lay next to her because she looked pretty while she was sleeping. He just dozed off while looking at her sleeping. He doesn't really know what happened after that. He's blushing. So hard. What did he just say? We then hear a beeping of the front door. His sister enters. She's calling out to him to take the basket of fruits that she's brought. She's come to visit him as he's injured, and he asks if it's the same sister that is trying to force him to get married. The scary one. From last time, he then asked her to be quiet and hide herself so she doesn't get caught. because if they find out that she's been here the whole time, we'll end up in a church tomorrow, walking down an aisle together before leaving. He says what they were talking about just now. I finish the conversation later. He closes the door and leaves her there, staring at blankly. Hey, sister hands over the fruit basket that Mum made. She doesn't understand why Mum is being so nice to Man. That's unmarried. They begin to fight again as they're both unmarried. She then points out that he's walking around just fine for someone that's sick. He points out that it's his wrist that's broken, not his foot. He then keeps looking back towards his room. His sister pointed out, why is he looking towards his room? He tells her to leave. She then asked, what's wrong with his face? He doesn't understand. She points out that his lips are all swollen. She then pulls out her compact mirror and points out they look like swollen lips that have been kissed. He drops the fruit basket fruit rolling everywhere on the floor. What is she saying? She didn't kiss anyone. Nanny looks through the crack in the door. He is such a bad liar. She begins to sweat. His older sister begins to laugh at him. Is he crazy? Of course he's not kissed anyone. He's not got a girl to kiss. He was probably just playing with the bottle and drinking it too hard, like when he was young, as she is, putting the other bag down on the table. The phone begins to ring. She picks it up. He snatches it from her. He claims that it's one of his phones, but she points out the actor that plastered on the screen background. She then looks down and sees a bag. Looks like a lady is. She sniffed the bag. She's sure there's a woman in the house. Both of them shiver. She says that this place smells of a woman. Nanny is scared. She begins to tremble. She backed up into the bathroom and she looked at herself in the mirror. Her lips are all puffy and her hair is all messy. Her skin, is it an irritated from where his beard rubbed against her face? She was like this the whole time. It's definitely a face that's been kissed. We then go back to his sister, who is searching and sniffing. She's sure there's a woman in the house. But he claims that she's delusional and she needs to go to a hospital. He snatches the bag from her and says these bags look like they're exclusively for women as he wears it. She tells him to not be ridiculous. It can't be his. He says it is. He carries it to work. They continue to fight. She's sure they can't be a new woman, and she asked, what's the name of the cleaning lady? He tell her it's Go Nanhy. She then confirms with him that they couldn't be a lady at his house at this time of night. He confirms of course not. She then goes back through everything that the phone in the bag is. His sighing, she says that his preferences are so feminine, there's no chance of him getting married. He's confused. She's going. She then points to the fruit basket and tell them to put them in the fridge so they don't rot. As he begins to pick up the basket, she dashes into his house further. He really doesn't know how to lie. And he glanced at the room strangely before. So she runs into the room. Nanhy. Who is that? It's so noisy. What's going on out there? She's worried she didn't lock the bathroom door. She goes to reach for it, but then suddenly busts open. The sister dances. Is the second time seeing her like this. Nanny feels dizzy and faints again. The sister of shocked. What happened again? She can't believe that this is the second time she's met her. In the second time she's fainted. We then go to the kitchen where they're making ramen. She can't believe she fainted again after not eating enough. He's holding a screwdriver in his hand and she asked him why, and he says it's how he opened the door to save her from the crazy bee. Is that his sister? He then asked her about her phone wallpaper and the actor that's plastered on it. She asked him who is he to call that celebrity a punk. His biggest problem is how bad he isn't lying. The sister finishes the phone calls and begins talking to them and asks how far have they gone. They both stammer, asking her what nonsense she's talking about. They've done nothing but chaos. He looks at her stuff, and she's even worse at lying, sister. Then looks at her and says, there's no getting out of this. Is she going to try and avoid responsibility after kissing her brother or making his lips look like that? She's trying to set up a date for when the parents need to meet. He then hits his sister over the head. He drags her outside and tells Nanhy to wait a bit. His older sister is putting ice pack on her head. She's so mad she feels dizzy. How could he hit his older sister like that? He knows what's going to happen. She's going to report what she saw back to Mom. He then says that she won't even believe him when he says they're not in that kind of relationship. She then argues back that they kissed. So how could you say there's nothing between them? To his sister then goes on about how she has evidence. She's going to report it back to Mom and take care of everything for the newlyweds. He then raises his hand, and she asked what he's going to do. He's debating whether he should knock her out again or not. He's not used the phone from her hand and decides to give her a once-in-a-lifetime offer. She has to hear him out first before calling Mom. She looks back at him. What trick is he trying to pull? Nanhee looks around the door. It's been 30 minutes. Why are they still standing there and talking? It's been so long, she thinks back to what happened in the kitchen earlier. A meeting between the parents. It's too soon. All they did was kiss. Then suddenly the door burst open. He comes through. Weird. I'm talking. She then grabs him and dashes to the side, holding him. She asked if his sister is gone. He confirms that she left looking to the side. She asked what happens now. He says from now on his big sister won't approach her anymore and won't tell his mom what she saw. She's shocked, so I had to take responsibility, and she's not going to be forced to marry him. He correct her, yes, for 1 month. She's confused for 1 month. Yes, he confirmed. He bought them 1 month of time. He did wage or something quite big for this, but in the meantime, she won't interfere. He begins a sentence, so in the meantime, he wants to say date. But she says run away. They look into each other's eyes. He's confused. Did she just say run away to where she looks at him blankly? Well, a small temple study room. It's up to him. He calls your name and he's shocked she wants to run away after making his lips look like this, pointing at his plump lips. She argues that she kissed him when she was asleep. If she was in her right mind, she never would have. He then argues. He was in his right mind. He can't pretend nothing happened. Either way, his sister won't believe that they're not dating, so he wants to go on an official date without interference with her romantically. They both stand there blushing. No one's saying anything. He then cuts in and tells her to think about it, and if she needs a few days to think about it before going on an official date with him, but she cuts him off and tells him to wear a suit and put his contacts in and shave, and she'll meet him. Actually, don't wear a suit. It will be uncomfortable with his cast. She runs out the door screaming goodbye. What did she just blew it out? She's blushing on the other side of the door. Nanhee is back home and her mom walks into her room and asks her, what's happening? Her room is an absolute pigsty. She claims she's just cleaning out her closet. Her mom then asks at 1 a.m. and tells her it's late to go to sleep. Her mom then closes the door and leaves and thinks her daughter always cleans when she's stressed. So she must be having a hard time at the moment. Nanhee looks at her clothes. She has nothing to wear. She's 30 years old. It's her first time she's ever been asked out on a date. She thinks about herself. Is she not in her right mind? Lying down on her bed, she thinks she's been disappointed by this guy so many times before. Yet when he asked her out on a date, her answer seemed so prepared, like she was waiting for it. She's so tired, and she hasn't even done anything yet. Her phone then begins to ring. It's him, because her name. And asked if she's not sleeping. She says no. She was looking for something and asked what he was doing. He said he was watching a drama. She's shocked. He's watching a drama. He then goes on to talk about their date tomorrow. She then stammers, is the date canceled tomorrow? He's too stunned his eardrums hurt from her screaming over the phone. He said no, it's not canceled, but he was going to ask if she wanted to do anything in particular. Tomorrow. She's awkward. She doesn't reply. He then asked if she likes watching movies. She says yes. That's great. And goodbye. And then hangs up. She's so embarrassed that she really act that desperate. What's wrong with her? She thinks back to herself. She's all stressed and pent up, and yet he's all chill. And watching a K-drama, he looks at the list. Suit, glasses, shave. The suit will be tough. He then goes back to watching his drama. He's watching the drama that has the actor that was on her phone background. He's studying him. Who is he and what is she like? He then has the doorbell go. He opens it to see her there. Dressed a nice light cream coat. He's dressed nicely in a shirt and a blue jumper. He begins to blush. He looks at her. They're both very awkward. She said she couldn't open the door because the password wouldn't work, explains that you changed the password because of his sister. He then asked her if she comes in, if she would like to have a drink. She said she'll get it. She thinks herself. She comes here every day yet. Today, it's awkward. As she takes off her coat, he stares at her. He is stunned. She just tells him that water is fine and then begins to ask him about the movie. What time is it? What they watching? He then turns back to her and says that he ordered chicken and pizza and they'll be delivered soon. He then asked what genre film she likes. Does she like animations? She tells him that she's not really watched a lot of animations, but she's fine with anything. He then brags about how he has 30,000 films and she can choose anything she wants. He's very proud of his setup. She's annoyed. They're not going to the movies right now. They're just staying home. He's so excited, though, as she hasn't seen a lot of animation films. He has a ton that he would recommend. How about watching just 10 films today? She is too stunned to speak. What is she got herself into?